Tell. It says we
Oh, here we
okay.
go.
We are live now. Okay.
All right.
Jim Feist, Chip Chirimbas, the Dom DeMarco Show, the Jim Feist Handicapping Show here in Las Vegas, 9785 West Charleston. We do this remotely in the summer, but on set in the restaurant during the fall for about 20 some shows. So, yeah, we are now live.
Great.
Chipper, you and I started working together. Was it 100 years ago, or was it a half a
Well,
hundred?
I'd say it was like at least 5 decades. I can tell you that much. Yeah, I was in New York. You were, you were the king out here without a doubt. And I had started producing that local television show, the A Play, a sports gambling show, and people really responded to it, Jim. And then you became part of it, and then eventually. Sort of like Don Corleone, you made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and I ended up in Las Vegas with you guys on Proline, and changed my life, and for the better, I must say. And it's been great being out here in Las Vegas. Jim, I moved out in 1987, and you were here long before that, out of Philadelphia, I think. But
I came here. Now I came over the mountain in 1970.
And your name was already huge before you brought me out, and you continued to grow. You got the Nevada sports schedules, and you had done a lot of other things in the industry, branching out, which really the forerunner for what we're seeing today.
Yeah, and I'm proud of the both of us. We've done well, and we've built the name, integrity, honesty, and crazy thing is we do pick winners.
But you have to survive, Jim. I think it's a testament to both of us that we're still around. I mean, we know people that come back in mid-season under a new name, and the industry really has been cleaned up in one way, is that if you post your games on websites on the internet, there's a long-standing record, and they have a leaderboard and, current, past. And so if you're doing well, you'll be rewarded. And as opposed to Jim, remember people get on the phone and yeah, I'd hit 18 out of 19, and you go, well, can I check your records? Are you documented anywhere? And oh, no, well, my customers document me. I mean, we've come through a long way in this industry. I think there was a lot more scamming going on before. And like you said, the integrity and legitimacy that you brought to the industry and that we've maintained is something I'm kind of proud of.
Well, let's see. Hold on a second, Chip. You're supposed to use the stream. Okay, there's something afoul here.
Well, it seems okay on my end, bud.
Yeah, but they're telling me at the control center that we're not live. Huh. It says I don't know.
Jim, I have card tricks. Somebody's ringing a bell here.
All right, hold on. We're going to stop. Something's wrong. Let me see what's going on. Something went wrong. I'm not sure what happened. Well, we started the show at 10 o'clock. It said go live. I went live. I hit it go live and then go live twice, and it showed we were live, and then you texted me and said we're not live. So because the counter was on, it says, what's that? 10 o'clock. It's ticking. 4 minutes and 12 seconds. Am I recording or not? Okay, bye. I guess we were going live, Chip, and they couldn't. It was being delivered. So anyway, they'll edit that out. Chipper, right now, of course, we got the Final Four this week.
Yeah.
I think the only surprise that's in there really is Illinois. And I really don't know if they're a surprise because they are the highest scoring team in the country. And I mean, they got a lot of players from Europe.
Yep.
Can't even pronounce their names. and but they're very tall. They're very good, and they big advantage at guard because they got a guard that's 6'6", and in college that's a big guard.
Yeah.
So he's hard to handle. I don't know. I mean, the coaching. I think everybody's going to give the coaching edge to Connecticut because of who he is and what he's done. But I don't know. We can get into this game right now if you want to talk about it, because we got other things to talk about as well, as the NBA, the baseball season, et cetera, et cetera.
You said it about Illinois. They were touted to be, one of the top 10 teams early in the year. I think they got to be number 6, Jim, or 4, in around there. And they really, there's an anomaly with this team. They are number 1 in proficiency, points per possession, and they are virtually last in forcing turnovers. So it's again 6 of one, half dozen of another with this team, and that's why they say struggled or didn't quite come through. They're a 3 seed, I believe, favored over 2 seed Connecticut.
I think they're actually a 2 seed.
Are they? Then
I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I thought they were 3. Connecticut was 2, and they come up the favorite. But they've been good to us down the stretch here, and it's sort of like Purdue played, had that lapse in the middle of the year, and then they started playing better, and then of course they hit the juggernaut, the Arizona Wildcats. But Illinois, they can do it because, like you said, they're long, they're strong, and they handle the ball well. And what the heck, they only have to win 2 more games. I mean, and it isn't like Connecticut's so domineering. What a game they had! My goodness.
Mr. Indiana basketball hit that shot at the end, which was incredible.
Is he from Indiana, Jim? Was he Mr. Indiana basketball?
I think he last year in high school. Yes.
Muller. Yeah. Well, he's the one that stole the ball of it and then gave it up and then got the return pass. In that moment, he didn't hesitate, Jim. He was very calm. I think that has to do with coaching. There was no panic. He knew he was going to shoot it. He was 0 for 4 from 3-point range going into that. And
they had a terrible night shooting the threes.
And like I had mentioned to you earlier, they had that turnover advantage, 13-4. Only 2 people committed turnovers on Connecticut, and they both had 2. And here's Connecticut. You have to remember something about this team. They have the all-time winning streaks, 111 games. They won 70 games. They won 9. Oh, those are the women. Sorry, Jim. I get them confused. They winning so many championships. As Gino goes for his 13th and his 7th straight undefeated season. I don't mean to seem a little biased, Jim, but I am from Stamford, Connecticut, and
I figured you were touting your state. I knew that was happening.
But I was rooting against them. I actually had Duke, and they were up 19, like we saw, and like I said, I remember them cutting at a 17-point lead with 15 minutes to go. My buddy who went to school there, he says they're done, and I said, well, look at Hurley. Hurley thinks he's going to win this game. and I think he gave that aura off, and they just grind. They didn't quit. But I never thought they'd be able to come back, Jim, because of the way the Blue Devils defense is ranked number 1 per possession, and how they're going to overcome that defense. But they played hard. They didn't turn the ball over, and key mistake at the end. If your man holds on to the ball, Boozer, he has to get fouled.
Yeah, and, the game is over if he doesn't try to pass it.
Right, because the 10-second line and everything else. Even if they went to a jump ball, there would only be like a second and a half left or something like that. So, poor judgment on his. It just brings you back to reminders of Christian Laettner and all those other crazy antics with Connecticut, Kentucky, and Duke back in the day.
Are you surprised that Illinois is favored by? Well, they opened 1.5. They're up to 2.5. I don't see.
Yes.
I don't think anything higher than that. But are you surprised about that?
Yes, I am. I mean, geez, I did a lower seed, like I said, so that's the first thing that caught my eye. And who do you trust, the bookmakers or the pollsters?
Well, the bookmakers only made it 1.5. The money has come in to make it 2.5.
Yeah.
So
Tim, what do you think would have happened if they made Connecticut 1.5 to open this?
What's that?
I said, what do you think would have happened with the money or the action if Connecticut had opened 1.5?
Well, you'd still see Illinois 2.5.
So you see, you think the public would move it that high, move it that way?
Well, the public doesn't bet that early.
Right.
It's the, when you're not seeing early money from the public, it may be maybe $25 or $50 bets in some of the legalized areas around the country. You're not seeing any big money.
Yeah.
The big money, when you're looking at all these books, and I got 14 live books, when you look at all of them at the same price, that's a lot of money. Because some of these books are taking $5,000-$10,000 early, and then at the end near the game they'll probably take $25,000 to $50,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of money that moves it. This isn't one place, just a DraftKings or a FanDuel or something like that.
Are you surprised that that the pros or the sharps or these early bettors took Illinois?
No, because there are a lot of advantages that Illinois has. But the thing that you're going to have, first of all, Connecticut coming off that amazing win last second, you're wondering now all week long, they're on national TV, they're talking about it, Can they get over it? Can they get their head back in the game? Illinois has a little bit more time. And, when you look on paper, Illinois might be the better team, because they are bigger, they are young. You have, and some of these players coming out of Europe, you never know how much, experience at what level they had, because if they were in Europe playing against 25, 30-year-old guys in Europe, and you don't even know that because there's no records of it, they're different players, and you've seen that. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. Luka, when he came out to the NBA and they drafted him into the NBA, he was already a pro.
Yeah.
Before he ever got here.
Yeah.
Because, so this is really what's going on. In these international players are actually fundamentally good. They're fundamentally better.
Absolutely. Their fundamentals are better. And do you think here that Connecticut has the advantage in the coaching situation? We just talked about Hurley, that it would make a difference when it comes down to the last 2 minutes?
Well, first of all, the Big Ten has done extremely well in this tournament. That's one. And they are a Big Ten team, as is Michigan. No, I think you'd have to give it to Hurley because of the reputation of that school, his consistency, the fact that they've won before. I mean, when was the last time Illinois was even in this thing? It was probably 20, 30 years ago.
They had the point guards. They went to the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah. Illinois, talking about point guard, Illinois has a 6'6" point guard.
Yeah.
That's big in college. That's a very large point guard, and he happens to be pretty damn good. Most college teams don't have a point guard that large that's that good. I remember back in the day when there was a point guard named Magic Johnson. And I don't know if he was actually a point guard, but he was one. And what was he, 6'9"?
Yeah, he was 6'9". Jim, he was a point guard the whole season, and when Jabbar got hurt, he played center in the playoffs. And
then they beat the hell out of Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
I remember what he scored. He scored 40 points in that game.
I just, his versatility and we used to call him Hooli. He looked like he was off stride or off balance and not coordinated, and yet in his brain everything was working perfectly. He looked awkward. He looked awkward making shots or making drives or off balance, and yet it was all working for him. That's for sure.
It sure was. He was an amazing player. Probably, maybe who could be the best player ever, because nobody gives him credit because of Michael. And
all around. He distributed the ball. He rebounded. He played deep. He was a great player. There's no question.
Absolutely. Now we talk about that game, and we don't want to give up everything, but then you have what might be the championship game, Michigan against Arizona, because these two teams are rated higher, and understandably. And yeah, they have Michigan. This game opened to pick them, and Michigan's got the money. They're only one place showing 1.5 Michigan. I don't consider that even favored either. Both of these games are basically pick 'em with these short lines.
To me, Jim, Arizona's been the #1 team the whole year. They came into the tournament, I thought, should have been ranked over Duke because Duke had struggled in the last 2 weeks. And Arizona still, to me, has been so impressive. When I saw Michigan, I expected Arizona to be favored at least 1.5, 2. And when I saw Michigan, move to the favorite, I took a little step back and I said, this team won 8 games last year, Michigan. 8 games. New coach. But I was surprised, Jim, that Michigan moved to the favorite and Arizona didn't move to the favorite.
Well, let's look at this factor. The Big Ten, which I mentioned before, has done very well. Perhaps the Big Ten is a stronger league than every other league.
I don't think there's any perhaps, Jim. I think that's probably the reason. And, Arizona didn't play the type of competition day in and day out that the Wolverines did. I think you're absolutely right about that. I think you're right on.
That may be the reason Illinois and Michigan are getting the money. Because
what? When I think about it, it's probably the conference. The Big East was down this year, only having 3 teams get in. And St. John's was the conference champion, and they were seeded 5th. And they beat Connecticut twice. So they weren't giving much credit to the Big East. And I think you're absolutely right about the same effect with Arizona.
So these are, and the big money guys that I talk to all the time out here, very definitely could be factoring in a slightly stronger league with Michigan and Illinois.
Yep.
Then that could be the reason.
I think you're right on it. I think you're hitting the nail on the head with that. I think that's it. The Big Ten has been so overpowering this year. All the majors killed the mid-majors all season long, and we've even seen it happen here in the tournament where there's more favorites covering by large margins than we've ever seen.
I think unless Connecticut didn't cover and win that game, I think the favorites were winning everything the last 2 rounds.
And they won by huge margins.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the nil in the portal has pretty much destroyed the bottom, the middle and the bottom part of college basketball, and I don't think we're going to have Cinderellas anymore. Right now, the Cinderella in this whole thing is Illinois, and they're not, they're not from a.
And coming into the Sweet 16, it was Tennessee. How could Tennessee be a Cinderella? I mean,
right. They're not coming. They're not. It's not like a Butler, a Duquesne,
exactly.
or something, or somebody on the West Coast. That's
even a UNLV from 1990. Give me that team. Come on.
Oh, well, that was a whole different world back then.
Hey, we went to Indianapolis.
I remember.
And we saw them lay down against Duke.
That's right. That was an amazing game, an amazing year. Different. I mean, 19. Wow, 30. That was 30.
The year before, they beat them by 30 in a championship game, and the line opened, I think, on this one was like 8.5, 9 by game time. Do you remember that the number was like 4 and closing lower because there was such bad news coming out about the outcome?
That's right.
And it was 4 when it closed, and we looked at each other. We said, "There's something going on here," and there certainly was. They blew it I think UNLV blew a 4 or 5 point lead in the last 3 minutes, and lost outright. Anderson Hunt never got his big shot because of that game.
That was basketball was a whole lot different then, and I think it's going to be a whole lot different going forward. NIT games. I mean, are you looking at any of them?
I haven't for the most part, but I did check out. I think. Who was the favorite over Colorado on the road here? Baylor, and Baylor's just been a money burger.
Colorado's playing Oklahoma.
Oh, Oklahoma! All right,
but that's not the NIT. That's the Crown.
Oh yeah, that's in Vegas, right?
That's here in Vegas.
And what's the NIT game?
Okay, we've got NIT. Well, let me see. Do I even see an NIT game? Because the first set of games I got here are all Crowns. Oh, here's an NIT. Tulsa, New Mexico, but this is not this is Indianapolis.
Right,
And
they're in Indianapolis. I had thought that they were going to play the finals in New York, but they're not doing that anymore.
and then Illinois State Auburn, that's also in Indianapolis.
And Auburn's a heavy favorite there, aren't they?
7 down to 6.5.
Yeah, I had those games are Thursday, and I'm having enough trouble getting through today, Jim. I haven't I haven't did much foresight on how to look at the Final Four, of course, because those games are so big. But I did note in one of these games that are being played out there, and maybe it's in Las Vegas, where I had a team that has been terrible in key situations. Baylor's, I think, a favorite, and I'm not sure if they're exactly who. I can't remember who they're playing.
They're
But
playing
that caught
Minnesota.
my eye. And like
They're a 3.5-point favorite over Minnesota.
Minnesota, right? And
Again,
we got a Big Ten team here, right? We got Minnesota, so
that's
maybe they can give that Baylor
exactly
team
right.
some action.
You got Minnesota, a Big Ten team,
Right? And Baylor's been a disappointment all year. I mean, they've just come up. I think they won 1 or 2 of the big games that they've had, and they've had like 10 of them, and they just didn't get there, Jim. They just didn't play well.
Yeah, so if you look at the leagues that these teams come from,
right?
Auburn, Illinois State, New Mexico, Tulsa.
New Mexico, Tulsa should be interesting because the Lobos can score. You know that.
But they play New Mexico plays so well at home.
I know you're right. The difference between the home and the road play is probably one of the biggest variations in all college basketball.
And this of course is a neutral game. It's in Indianapolis, Indiana. So they're games that come up on Wednesday for the Crown, and then on Thursday we've got Crown again, and we got the NIT also on Thursday. We don't get to the Final Four until Saturday. Yeah. So, and then we have baseball, which just started a week ago. I don't do too much in baseball early because I don't think everybody's fresh. And then they played this tournament coming into the baseball season. What was it, WCB or something?
World Baseball Congress.
Right. I think that might have used up some of the players, and they didn't come into the baseball season with the same vim and vigor. You saw some of these starters and stuff that like Webb and they just didn't come out playing very well right away. Right. So, and that might have made a difference. I'm sure it made a difference. But the baseball season has started. I don't recommend doing much with baseball until you get one turn through a couple games under their belt with the pitchers coming back a second time and that kind of thing. That's basically so I look at totals and I look at first 5 innings and
Jim, you just mentioned something that sort of changed my outlook on baseball, and it's the first 5 innings. And a lot has to do with the fact that nowadays starters don't finish games. And I'll give you an example. For the second year in a row, Jim, how's this? The first game I gave out, I had a 7-1 lead with my starter taken out in the 6th inning. Tampa Bay against the Cardinals. I lose that one 9-7 to give up 8 runs. That's the second year in a row where they pulled my starter who had a 7-1 lead. Gone. Look, so at the beginning of the season, I understand pitchers aren't going that deep into the game, and the fact that they don't. Do you know what the over/under was at the Westgate for highest amount of complete games by an individual pitcher for the season was?
No.
2.5.
Whoa.
2.5. They don't think one pitcher is going to go complete 3 games on the year. So that's the philosophy of baseball now. You throw as hard as you can for 5 innings, and then you bring in some of the blow to lead, and that's what happened to me. But we did come up with a winner yesterday with Seattle. I think it's very difficult this time of the year, and just trying to put out there A play, Jim. 1 game a day. Just put out the A play.
That's how it started back in the day for you.
Yeah,
here comes Webb today, coming off that bad start.
Right.
He's going to San Diego. He's up against Marquez. He's laying 145, 140. Now, I don't know what Marquez did in his first game, so I'm a little short on knowledge with that. But he had that terrible game. You look for him to bounce back off of that, but I don't know if he's deserving of a 145 on the road.
I don't know if the Giants can score. They haven't shown that ability.
They don't score.
No, and plus like San Diego, are they an enigma or what, Jim? Every year I keep hearing about the talent they have and how this is their season, and they got Mason Miller now, and he's their closer, and they start to see what 1-4, 1-3. I mean, that's a hard. I think that's a difficult game to call. I mean, you can analyze it all we want, Jim, but Webb is the key though here because we know he's a top-notch all-star pitcher.
Well, what I would say with that game, I mean, just analyzing it, and like I said, I do not have the records in front of me of what Marquez did first time out.
Right.
I mean, even if he pitched the first time, I don't even know right now because I didn't look at it.
I don't think he started, Jim. I think this is his first start.
His first start, okay. Well, I'm
going to
say
he'd be opening day starter, and we would have known, right? I mean, this is already their 5th game.
I've been so much into basketball, I didn't pay that much attention to it. Like I said, I've been mostly playing totals in baseball. But yep. I'm looking at Webb to come back with a very strong effort after the embarrassment. And I would say, San Francisco first 5 innings.
I can say it. I'm going to look at Marquez right now, Jim. This is his first pitch. He hasn't thrown yet. So,
okay,
he was 3-10 last year at Colorado. Why would he be any better now that he's got a?
Well, you can't do anything if he you can't judge anybody if they pitch for Colorado.
I know, is that something? And his ERA was.
He could be the best.
6.7 was his ERA.
He could be the best pitcher in baseball, and because Colorado, you can't pitch there. It's just,
with these numbers, I'd like to try to hit against them. That's for sure.
Yeah, but that's not fair because you were a pretty damn good baseball player.
Yeah, well, this guy's probably better than I could ever have dreamed of being, but his ERA is 6.7.
But I would say Webb first 5 innings would probably be my bet. But again, the knock on that is San Francisco never scores any runs. So I mean, we're just throwing stuff around here. But,
you know what's an interesting matchup today, and I just really caught it, was this McClanahan, the lefty for Tampa Bay, that was so promising, had a great start, and came up with a major injury, is going up against Woodruff for Milwaukee, who's also had a major injury. And both these guys were premier pitchers, where they both had virtually unhittable stuff, Jim. But how do we know what they're going to come back with? They're both coming off injuries.
Yeah. Well, they had the off season to heal, and they're pitching them. I'm going to say they're healthy.
Over under 7.5. You got to lay $1.18 on the under, so it's probably going to be a low scoring game until they bring in the reliever guy to put gas.
I'm going to go back to what I've been talking about. First 5 innings.
First 5 innings. I could see that.
Right.
It makes more sense now than ever. I used to think that's silly. I want to play the whole game.
These prices are all set up for the starters, but they're not going to be there.
Exactly.
So the last 4 innings of the game, they're not on the field.
Jim, 2.5. 2.5 is the total complete game number. I mean, that's the proof in the pudding right there. Why it should be 5-inning bets.
I did not even know that, but that's amazing. That's an amazing stat.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I took Roman Anthony over 23.5 home runs for the Red Sox. Let's go, Paisan.
When we also have there's a lot of things to talk about in sports. There always is. There's a lot of stuff. It's not just the NFL. We can talk about that too because there's all kinds of stuff going on in that. But now we go to the NBA is going to be going into their playoffs, which is the only time they really fully give an effort.
Right, exactly. True. So totally true.
Do you do much with the NBA during the season, regular season, or do you
every day, Jim? Every day.
Really?
And I pound out 1 to 3 games. Like I said, I like playing the A play, and hopefully you catch a nice little run. It's been a hey. You mentioned about the NFL. Tom Brady coming back. Shaq's all pissed off. He's going to come back for the Lakers now. So watch out in the playoffs. Where anything can happen. But the Lakers have played a lot better than I had thought they would. With Donica and James is still one of the most efficient players out there. It's virtually impossible to stop him if he wants to go to the basket. He may not make the shot, but I don't see it. He's just so strong, knowledgeable now. It's an amazing career, and he's still formidable when he's out there, Jim.
He doesn't get enough credit for what he's done
because he's only playing like 27 minutes and around there, and he's picking up just 6, 7, 5 assists. And his overall play now is amazing to me. And he evolved as a shooter. If you might remember, there was I think it happened in a playoff game against Boston where all of a sudden with the Heat, he caught his rhythm. And he was, because at the beginning of his career, the first number of years, he wasn't as good an outside shooter as he is now. Same thing happened with Michael Jordan, to tell the truth.
Yeah, awesome player. I'm really glad that I was in the era that he and Michael played. I got to see three great players. When you look back, and we all saw Larry Bird and people like that.
Jim, did you ever stand next to Shaq?
Yes. Well, actually, met Shaq and I shook his hand. And that was.
Is he used or what? He's like a roadblock. This guy.
No, wait a minute. His hand went from my hand up to my elbow. That's how big it was.
He's huge.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
I saw him get in a fight with a Cadillac, one of those Escalades, and a Cadillac back down.
Well, he sits in the back seat to drive.
And he's wide. He's just, and he's applicable. He's not arrogant at all if you're out there.
We're old enough to have seen Chamberlain, but I never met him. Did you?
Yeah, I met him here in Vegas when he was at one of the clubs in the back room, and one of the dancers said to me, Wilt's here. And I said, you're kidding. And she goes, yeah, he won't let anyone go back there. And I wrote on a napkin, Jim, Wilt, 100 points, Pennsylvania, 28 of 32 free throws. I put the whole thing, versus New York Knicks, March 16th. He told us to bring him back here. I went back there, and he said, I'll sign it, but you can't be selling this. And that was at Club Paradise, across from what used to be the Hard Rock, and now the Virgin Hotel down there. And,
wow.
Yeah, it was. When I was a kid,
that was in Harrisburg. That was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and there was Willie Knowles scored like 54 for the Knicks. I mean, it was one of those incredible games, but there was no TV. Hershey, Pennsylvania, it was in, and and at that time, it's such a crazy anomaly, Jim, because he set the NBA record for free throws in a game at 28 of 32 when he used to do it underhand like Rick Barry. And then he had to become, fashionable and started tried free throws like Hal Greer, and he was standing 8 feet behind the free throw line because he didn't. But I mean, they changed 6 major rules of basketball, of NBA basketball, because of Wilt Chamberlain. The foul-out rule, which was 5 fouls, they had to keep people in the game. Changed that to 6. The lane margin where he used to rebound off of free throws was widened by 3 feet because of him. He just dominated the course. They changed, of course, the offensive and defensive goaltending. And so Wilt had such an impact on the game. They tried everything to corral this guy. And he spent the year with the Globetrotters before he played in the NBA.
Amazing player, and people don't realize how great he really was.
It's over time, of course, you have to forget, but he was so dominant. There was nobody near his size. And Bill Russell used to beat him in championship games because Bill Russell had the better team. I mean, Boston Celtics, without a doubt, were better than any of those teams that Chamberlain played on. And the Wilt took a lot of garbage because of that. And he was still, I mean, there were games where he scored 49 against Russell, and it didn't matter because in the championship game, Russell had 17, and the last 6 points would come from the free throw line where he wouldn't miss a shot. I mean, he was clutch, and he won.
That's very true. Chamberlain might have been the greatest player that ever lived.
I mean, statistically, it's sort of like the Babe Ruth, right? I mean, how do you compare the numbers? I mean, there was no 3-point shooting then. He probably would have been taking those shots, but I mean, he was so dominant, Jim. The guy averaged 50.4 points a game.
Wow. Ooh.
Right.
That's incredible.
Now, Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double for a career. But no one else saw the ball when he played with the Cincinnati Royals. I mean, he didn't bounce it to himself. And then somehow he was big guy, playing guard, jockeying his position, like you said, that 6'6" guy that we're sitting looking at from Illinois.
And Chipper, one thing they all did, they all showed up for every game.
Yes. Yeah, they played 82 games.
Load management did not exist.
No.
And they played every game.
You know what makes me laugh, Jim, is when they said they gave him such a big contract that they're going to sit him out to protect him. I said, you gave him a good contract to play him. You know, that's why you gave him the contract, not to rest him for another time when you can rest him again.
Times are different, Chip. We're, the kids today don't realize.
Well,
what it
we
was
are
like.
old school. I mean, you're coming out of high school now. You're being offered millions of dollars out of high school. Where's the motivation to improve?
How many millions were you offered?
Well, my father offered me money to get out.
Of the house.
Yeah. I said, you guys make me want to run away. He says, yeah, we'll be moving.
How do you approach which is a very long season, Major League Baseball? What do you look for? What are your angles? What's your attack mode?
Now, my ex-partner, Lou Pucci, he says something, he likes the idea of betting on teams that are on winning streaks. So his first criteria is to play a team that's won the day before, so that you don't follow teams on losing streaks. And I, for the most part, look for a team that's sort of the favorite, and you have a number of people that seem to gravitating toward the underdog. Or I have a situation, there was a game, say you have a team on a 6-game losing streak, they go on the road, and all of a sudden they're favored. It sort of sticks out to me, Jim. I read lines more than anything else. And when I see that type of anomaly that it's not supposed, there's something wrong here. And it happens more often than you might, not as often enough, but it does happen often where it looks like the wrong team is favored. And there's got to be a reason. I don't think these guys don't know what they're doing. I think, the bookmaker's not your friend. And I love when people say, well, I'm getting great value. Well, 100% of nothing is still nothing. So I can give you all the value you want if you're not going to win.
Well, okay, let's go back to the basketball.
Right.
We got a higher rated team in Connecticut.
Right.
Underdog in this game. Well, how do you read that?
I think it comes now. A lot of people are going to be betting, and I probably will too, off of gut feeling of what they saw. And maybe this Connecticut's a team of destiny. They're not supposed to get beat. They played Arizona this year, and Arizona killed them. They played Illinois, and they beat Illinois by 13 to 14 at the Garden. So the fact that they beat Illinois, and Illinois is the favorite here, I see there might be trouble for the Huskies. But if they could get by this, I could see them winning it all, just because of who they are, and they're going to go in there with a really cocky attitude. They've had the experience of having been there. This is their third time at the Final Four in 4 years. This is new for Illinois. And I think that the calmness and the coaching and the preparation gives Connecticut an edge there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, this school, Connecticut, is amazing what they do in basketball, because look at what the women do. I mean, 50.
I was just going to say, the women aren't even suiting up for this game. I mean, this is a school that the females now have won 12 championships and 6 undefeated seasons. And the Husky men have now won 4 in the last 20 years, whatever it is, and 2 in the last 3 years. They've really come a long way. I remember when UConn, before Calhoun, where they just were nothing, Jim. They were, just a Yankee conference team. They'd be playing Yale.
Right. What else do you have on your plate, Chip, that you want to talk about? What's going on?
I try to ignore the hockey until the playoffs, because I never know where the puck is. And Jim, I'm telling you, people watch hockey because they love replays, because they never see what happens live. Yeah, it's fast game. The boards are blocking the puck. The skates are blocking the puck. The players' bodies are blocking the puck. You may see it 15% of the time, and you're seeing a little micro dot run across the ice.
Very, very fast game.
It's not made for TV. You know what I mean? Basketball is made for TV. You have 110 feet long, 48 feet wide, and the cameras are right there. Football with all the angles, but not hockey. It's just too fast.
So it's called replay. It's replay TV.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly what I said about it. But baseball's exciting now. It's I'm glad the A's got off the schneid, Jim, because I'm going to have to become an A's fan again, and try to get a single seat for their games here, and $186 a seat, and you have to buy 6 of them. So.
Well, they'll be here in Vegas soon.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That they have a 6-game series here, 3-3, and They're selling tickets in groups of 6. You have to buy your tickets for every game first, and then what's left over, I may be able to sneak in behind the center field fence, but I don't know.
That's what you always do. You always
Well,
sneak in.
if they have pageantry and they have flag bearers and they have Marines walking, you just, you dress up and stand nice. And
So you got a Marine outfit or you're a
no,
cheerleader?
usually I'll be dressed, but I'm not going to steal valor from anybody. That's for sure.
Well, Chipper, this is fun.
It's always a pleasure, Jim. I appreciate you having me. I really do.
Well, listen, I appreciate you being on the show this year at Dom DeMarco's. We'll do that again in the fall.
Yeah, it was great.
And I'll come. Maybe I'll tap you on the shoulder again to do one of these during the summer because we'll do them every week.
Yeah, no problem. Great. It's good to hear. And by the way, they got a lunch special at DeMarco's. Nobody should miss. I mean, between the veal parmesan, the lasagna, and everything else they got going there, even the veal piccata. Jim, I used to love doing the show there because we used to get to eat. And Don DeMarco's was great. And and I'll tell you what, it's been there for a while too.
Well, I wasn't there I didn't go there when it opened up, which was probably about 12 years ago. But
I lived around the corner, so I was familiar with it. And their pizza's great too, by the way.
Oh, the pizza's awesome. But I get the salmon, I get it blackened, I get the there's so many good pizzas. There's so many different kinds of pizzas. The chicken parm. I mean, everything's so good.
And there's great atmosphere there. It really is. I mean, everyone's very friendly and outgoing. The TVs are great because there's sports. You can see the games from wherever you are in the place.
9785 West Charleston if you're in Las Vegas. Right. So go visit.
Outside dining too as well.
But yes, that's where we do the show on the patio.
Right.
All right, Chipper, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
Take care, guys.